Hello, fellow pilots. Welcome to my new vlog. My name is Ari. I am a rusty pilot. As I start my journey here to get back in the air, I thought I'd record a few videos and introduce you to me and my background and some of the things that I'm doing to get ready to fly again. And so I wanted to take this first opportunity to introduce you to who I am and my background in flying, so you can understand kind of where I'm coming from with all these videos, and maybe inspire you to get back in the air also. So my background, I'm 38 years old now, and when I was like 4, I'd be in the car and my mom would ask me what I was thinking about, and I would spurt out airplanes. Because I'd look up in the sky and there's an airplane, and you look up in the sky and there's another airplane. I lived really close to Moffett Naval Air Station, which is now Moffett Federal Field or something, in Mountain View, California. We lived in Cupertino, just, I don't know, like a mile away from Apple Computers or whatever. But I had this dream when I was a really young kid, and then got a little older in high school and thought about going to college at University of North Dakota. And if you don't know the school, UND has a really top-notch flight program, but two problems. Number one, it's really expensive to learn how to fly, and number two, it's in North Dakota, and I didn't really feel like spending 4 years in North Dakota, so I skipped that. And life took over for a little while, and I got busy, and like happens in airplanes sometimes. And then a few years later, it would have been late 2003, I had a job that I was fortunate enough to have some free time and to have some extra money. And you put those two things together for a kid that has a dream, and I went out and I got my my private pilot license. I took my first flight in late December of 2003, and by about the middle of March of 2004, I had my PPASEL. Private pilot, airplane, single engine land. And I think that's where a lot of people start, at least in the private flying universe. It's what a lot of people think of as small airplanes or private airplanes. Cessnas and 4 places, about the size of a Honda Civic, and doesn't carry a lot of people and doesn't carry a lot of luggage, but it gets you in the air. And it gets you to where you want to go really reliably, really well, and damn, they're a lot of fun to fly. About a year later, I got my instrument rating as well, and so now it wasn't just during the clear weather days that I could fly, but also during the cloudy days, which came in really handy around here in Seattle, where it doesn't rain as much as people say, but it does rain quite a bit, and it is dark and it is cloudy, and so if you've got your instrument rating, then you can fly through the clouds too. And that's great. And so you fast forward a couple years, and I got myself up to about 210 hours. Had some time in a 152 and a 172 and a 182 RG, and a Cirrus SR20 and a Cirrus SR22, and they were all awesome. I loved every 10th of an hour in any one of those airplanes, because there's always something new. There's always something that you're learning, and there's always something exciting, and there's always something powerful, and just so thrilling about being above and below and through the clouds and getting to all these cool places so quickly, and it's really fascinating. So my last flight, I'm looking at my logbook right now. My last flight was October 24th of 2008, and it was in a Cessna 172 at a Boeing field, 4 Whiskey Alpha Niner. I don't know that airfield off the top of my head, but looking back, it wasn't Friday Harbor, it wasn't, let's see, 56 here, I don't know that one either. Anyway, BFR, satisfactory, review MCA, steep turns, departure, blah, 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 a bunch of airplane speak. What did I do? I did one of the minimum requirements to keep my pilot's license. According to the FAA, there's not a lot of things that you need to do to be able to fly an airplane after you have your pilot's license. To be able to fly with passengers, there's requirements. To be able to fly with passengers at night, there's other requirements. To be able to fly through clouds, there's other requirements. To fly for money, there's other requirements. But just to get in an airplane and go, one of the big things is called a BFR. a biennial flight review. It happens a minimum of every 2 years. That's why it's called biennial. And there's some time on the ground with a flight instructor, and there's some time in the air with a flight instructor, and they just make sure that you still know how to fly an airplane, and you're up to speed on all the current rules and regs and what's happening in aviation. So I did a BFR with my flight instructor, with my CFI. Let's see. Minimum controllable airspeed, steep turns, departure and approach stall recoveries. Stalls are not as scary as a lot of people want to think they are. Short and soft field takeoffs and landings, forced landings. And of course I was instrument rated, so I did an ILS approach and an NDB approach. Cool stuff. A lot of fun. And then life happened. I was in a job that didn't give me quite as much time or quite as much money. And I had a friend who was a flight instructor, guy that I went to high school with, that a lot of people respected and loved, who passed away in an airplane accident. I have since looked, I feel like every 6 months or so I look into the FAA report, and it doesn't really seem like there was any conclusive evidence or any conclusive reason to what happened, whether he was short on fuel or if he got bad fuel or the wrong fuel. I don't know what happened, but you put all that stuff together and it makes you think about your priorities. And is spending that kind of money and taking that amount of time for something that could get you in a lot of trouble, is it worth it? And my answer on October 24th of 2008 was no. And I got a lot of questions since then, because once you're a pilot, you're always a pilot. You're part of the club. You're one of the team. You're a member of the committee, and so you can talk to other pilots on this level, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. And people would ask me, "Hey, when's the last time you flew? Or do you fly much anymore?" And I kind of had my stock answer of, "Haven't flown as recently as I like, or don't get to fly as often as I'd like, or anything like that." But just recently, I said to myself, that's important to me. It's an important part of who I am, and it's an important part of what I want to be, and I want to have another go at it. I want to see if flying can be part of my future, and at 38 now, I need to either do it or say, no, that's part of my past, but it doesn't need to be part of my future. And so the goal of these videos and of me getting up in the air, well, there's a couple different things, but I think the big one is to see if flying is still right for me. There's been a lot of really cool upgrades in the aviation industry. There's a lot of things happening, technology advancements in the industry that make flying a lot both easier and complex, but a lot more fun and a lot more technologically current. Yeah, I want to see if that's if I want to make that part of my life. Okay, so who am I? Well, I'm a commercial photographer. I take pictures for a living, mostly corporate events. I also make corporate films, and I also teach people about whiskey, which gets a lot of laughs. But really, my job is to teach people about different kinds of whiskey and the background and the manufacturing and things. So I'm not really going to be flying for money. Sure, it'd be nice to get my my commercial endorsement at some point, but I just want to do it for fun and be able to take some friends and some family and some clients and whoever else up and just go kick around in the air. So that's kind of the long-term plan, and we'll see after my first flight. So what are these videos going to have? What am I going to be doing over the next few videos or so? Well, really, I'm just going to tell you how I'm getting ready for my flight. It's real late at night on March 1st of 2017 right now, and next week I have a BFR, a biennial flight review, with a flight instructor at a brand new flight school and a brand new airplane to me, and brand new equipment. And so there's a lot of new stuff that's being thrown at me, plus all the updates to the rules that I need to go over between now and then. And so I'm going to tell you about some of the things I'm doing to prepare for my flight, and hopefully I'm going to bring you along for that flight as well. I've already checked, and they're cool with me putting cameras in the airplane while I've got an instructor with me, and I guess there's even GoPro mounts already inside the airplane, so that's great. But if you want to know anything about me or about what's going to happen and kind of the future of this project or whatever you want to call it, comment down below, or I guess that's about the only way, because I'm not going to do the Twitter thing or the Facebook thing. Sure, I'm part of all that, but not for this. This is just videos. So I hope you enjoy them. If you have any questions, and if you if you want to know how I'm going to knock the cobwebs out and turn that rust into chrome, and I'll see you next time.